Welcome back, you guys. 3 stories today. I'm going to break down the latest reports surrounding Christian Pulisic and news suggesting that he could be looking to leave the club due to a lack of game time. For the other 2 stories, I'm going to break down the latest news surrounding our interest in Konate from RB Leipzig, and of course, I'll be discussing further reports on Franck Kessie and Tuchel's love affair for one of the best midfield players in Serie A this season. So I hope you guys do enjoy. We have a ton of things to break down and discuss. Make sure you get involved in the comments, and of course, if you like the video, make sure you show your support, smash that like button. And to start with the first story, I want to discuss these reports surrounding Konate and interest from us. Now, this story has been going on for a while now, and there has been further reports intensifying recently. Now, a few days ago, Chelsea Franck, the German reporter, tweeted some interesting news. He mentioned that there is some strong interest in Konate, and he mentioned that with our current assistant manager, Zolt Love, he actually worked alongside Konate during their days at RB Leipzig, with Franck implying that we would have an advantage due to that connection. Franck also implies that Love is conveying in the courting process, basically implying that, okay, there must be some informal discussions behind the scenes where Love is telling Konate, we want you, we think that you do great at this club. And I guess there's some great reasons behind why. Konate is one of the best young defenders in Europe. At only 21 years old, he really does have the world at his feet. Right now, it is looking like Tuchel and his team do want Konate at this club. Recently, it came out suggesting that the club are looking in the market to sign a commanding presence, a commanding centre-back for the summer. Now, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions because there is one thing that currently links all 3 of these commanding defenders, and that's their injury history. For example, in the past year, Konate has suffered 4 injuries. This season, he really hasn't played as many games for RB Leipzig, and my impression is, would Konate be ready to make that step up to the Premier League, where the game's a lot faster, a lot more physical, where strikers are more willing to press you and close you down? Is he going to be able to make that transition immediately to help us mount a title challenge for next season? Now, I do say this because recently, as we're seeing with many signings made from the Bundesliga, they need at least 1 season to really acclimatise to the actual demands of the Premier League. And considering Konate's age, his potential, I get why he would be worth that investment right now. But the reality is, if we can afford to potentially give a player a whole season to acclimatise and adjust, why not give those same opportunities to some of the, fantastic young defenders we possess already? I mean, with Tomori kicking out Romagnoli, the AC Milan captain, immediately, that tells you everything you need to know about Tomori's potential. We have some other great defenders too. Marc Guéhi's been probably the best young defender, if not the best defender in the championship this season. At only 20 years old, he's only going to grow, and he fills that commanding role that this team does need. I do think that there is definitely some food for thought here, but at the same time, let's not deny this guy's ability. At 21 years old, he's a defender in that mold of a Van Dijk. Defensively, he can do everything. He wins all his 50-50s. Once he shields the ball, many players aren't winning that back again. He can play out from the back. He can play balls over the top. He can play between the lines too. And of course, he's great 1v1. So he is a fantastic talent with some great potential. However, as I was discussing in my recent Talking Points video, which you guys, need to pay attention to, give that a watch. If there aren't many top outstanding candidates available in the market, I mean the ones where when they're available you have to sign them at any cost, is there really any point forcing to sign a centre-back when our entire defence this season, when you look at them on an individual basis, have been very strong in their own right? So I'll give you guys that question to ponder about, and make sure you guys comment that below. Now, we move on to the second massive story, which came out from The Sun. So immediately, you guys, make of that what you will. But they are reporting that Christian Pulisic may be considering his future away from this club. Now, I'm going to break down the story as to what was written in the article, and immediately off the bat, it's the lack of game time that Christian is suffering with right now, which is playing a part in him potentially thinking to move away. Pulisic has only started 1 game under Tuchel, and that was the game versus Barnsley. He has played more as an impact role, and Hudson-Odoi has been playing over him winning that spot in the team over Pulisic. The reports claim that Pulisic is so desperate for first team football that if he was to leave, he'd happily take a wage reduction on his current 150k per week contract at his club. Now, Tuchel has some very interesting choice of words in his recent press conference when he was discussing Pulisic. He mentioned that he knows him, obviously during his time at Dortmund, because Tuchel gave Pulisic his first opportunity of first team football. But Tuchel mentioned that maybe his problem may be that he knows Pulisic, and at the time at Dortmund, he was playing more in cup games. Tuchel then goes on to state that Christian's very effective in the final 20 to 30 minutes, which is it damning? I'm not too sure, but it is very illuminating. It's very revealing about how the coach sees a player. And the reality is that Tuchel seems to see Pulisic as an impact sub. The article does end by stating that if this current situation does not change, then Pulisic may be forced to consider his future away. Now, this is a very crazy article in that sense, but could there be some reasoning behind this? Now, of course, when you're a young player, you want to play consistently because that's the only way that you can improve and go to the next level. I do think though, and I'm going to say this straight, when you do focus on having an abundance of young players in the team, which we saw, those years back when we had Salah, De Bruyne, Oscar, etc., I do feel like that can hamper some of the other young players in the team. I think that there needs to be a great balance between youth and experience. So I think when you have so many young players that all need consistent game time in their own right, I feel like you can create that culture where you don't see all these guys perform to their best abilities. I think there are some interesting parallels at this point in time in regards to Pulisic's current situation and the situation which he left at Borussia Dortmund. At the time in Dortmund, Jadon Sancho, playing under Lucien Favre, won his place in the team over Pulisic. And right now this season, we're seeing Hudson-Odoi playing a more predominant role in the team over Pulisic. This is another English winger winning their place over him. At the time in Dortmund, one of the questions were, okay, does Christian suit that short passing possession style game? With Sancho, he is like a 2-in-1 winger. He can play between the lines, he has the ability to open up defences, play make, as well as bring that goal threat, and of course that 1v1 ability. This is the same thing as Hudson-Odoi, and I say this because under Tuchel so far, his attacking stats have really dramatically dropped. I think the one thing that we haven't been seeing too much of is his amazing 1v1 abilities. I mean, we just have not been seeing that much under Tuchel, and I guess the reality is, how many opportunities are there for Pulisic to, carry the ball and beat his man when the spaces are more congested and more restricted? Now, the reports do mention that teams like Man United are showing a strong interest in potentially signing Pulisic, and on paper, I could see why this could make sense with United and how they use their wide players. They like to use more classic wingers in that sense, and with Pulisic in this game, he could actually complement that style of football. I'm speaking from a purely football analytical point of view because Pulisic for me is more of a winger, more of an inside forward. That's how he plays his best game when there's space for him to play in. Now, of course, he has suffered an abundance of injuries, which is naturally going to hold that momentum. The reality is, though, he has suffered with many, many injuries. And with the injuries that he suffers, a lot of times, they're not coming from him being fouled or kicked. A lot of times they're coming down from his body breaking down. And could that be a reason behind why maybe Tuchel doesn't have as much trust in Pulisic due to the fact that he can't consistently rely upon his body? Who knows, you guys? There is a strong reality. If we are in the market to sign a big name striker, it does imply that some attacking players are going to be sacrificed. Now, could this be like a Tammy? Could this be a Ziyech? Could this even be Pulisic? I think time is going to tell. And we'll get those answers as the season comes to an end where, we'll find out who's been getting the game time and who hasn't. So, on that note, you guys, I'm going to end this story. Give your thoughts and opinions. Would this be absolutely crazy for us to even consider selling Pulisic? Does this club need to keep their faith in him? You guys, comment below. And now we end things with a final story, and that's in regards to Franck Kessie from AC Milan, because there have been some more updates behind our interest. Now, I spoke in a previous video about Tuchel's admiration for Franck Kessie, and that's for very good reason. This season, playing in a midfield too, alongside Benacer, he has been probably one of the best, if not the best, midfielder in AC Milan. this is his best role. This is his best position where he's able to be that enforcer of midfield, where he's able to dictate the play as well, where he can also, break the lines and bring that attacking threat from outside the box and inside the box as well. And of course, with his physical capabilities too, that complement his entire game. It does feel like we are looking to sign more strength for next season, and that's implied by all the signings that we're looking at. So let's break this story down. Let's hear what reports are saying. The latest updates surrounding Kessie suggest that us and Real Madrid are the two main clubs showing strong interest. Now, this is for very good reason, because Kessie's contract does expire in 2022. He has a current valuation of around 40 million euros, and even though some big teams are showing interest in Kessie still has his heart set in AC Milan and is still open to staying. Now it seems like him and his agent will be discussing new contract terms. At this point in time, Kessie is only earning up to 2.2 million euros a season, which is like absolutely nothing compared to some of the wages Premier League stars are earning, and it seems like himself and his agent want a contract package over more than 3 million euros. So again, from a financial point of view, he could make a ton of sense. However, Milan right now, they're a young team in their own right with a great project. They're having a very good season, and it seems like Kessie could have his heart set on staying in AC Milan. So if Tuchel wants his man, we're going to have to come in hard and really persuade him to sign for us. The reality is that we need another DM for next season. We can't have that entire burden on Konate, and I do feel like maybe Kessie could be a very interesting option to look at. If we look at the profile midfield players right now, it's not as balanced. We have more attacking players compared to defensive ones, and it does feel like some changes are going to be needed to be made in the midfield areas. Now the question is, could Tomori play a part in helping persuade Milan to sell Kessie? There could be a possibility, you guys, and that's my own personal opinion. The reality is, if we sign another defender this window, I do feel like this could have some massive repercussions in regards to Tomori and his future with us. Maybe from a financial point of view, if the club have aspirations to sign Haaland, he's going to cost easily over 100 million, easily over 150 million, then maybe to sign other players in other positions, we have to look within what we have, sacrifice certain players for the sake of the long-term future. There you have it, you guys. They were the 3 News Daily videos today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to get involved, comment below, smash that like button. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.